Terrorist incidents in Pakistan in 2007. In 2007, 34 terrorist attacks and clashes, including suicide attacks, killings, and assassinations, resulted in 134 casualties and 245 injuries, according to the PIP security report. The report states that Pakistan faced 20 suicide attacks, mostly targeted at security forces during 2007, which killed at least 111, besides injuring another 234 people. The BIP's report shows visible increase in suicide attacks after the siege of Lal Masjid. January-March 2007. 15 January, a powerful blast in the Jalzai refugee camp destroyed a mud house, killing 4 people and injuring 5 others. 26 January, 2 people were killed and 5 injured in a suspected suicide attack. A bomber and a security guard were killed in the blast of the Marriott Hotel in the capital Islamabad. 27 January, at least 13 people, including the chief of Peshawar City Police Malik Saud, were killed in the evening in a suicide bombing near a crowded Shiite mosque in Peshawar, northwest frontier province. About 60 people were wounded, 17 critically, in the 9:20 p.m. blast. About 2,000 Shiite Muslims were in and around the mosque, police said. 29 January, 2 people were killed and 7 wounded when a suicide bomber blew himself up in Dar Ismail Khan, NWFB. 6 February, a suicide bomber detonated his explosives in a parking area outside Islamabad International Airport, injuring 5 people. 17 February, a suicide bomber killed 15 people, including a judge, after blowing himself up inside a courtroom in Quetta, Balochistan. At least 24 people were wounded in the suicide attack. 20 February, Punjab Minister for Social Welfare Zul-e Osman was shot and killed in Gujranwala. Her assassin, Mohammed Sawar, was reported to have been motivated by a refusal to abide by the Islamic code of dress and a dislike for the involvement of women in political affairs. 1922 March. A ceasefire is declared after 4 days of fighting enforced by officials from both sides. April-June 2007. 10-11 April. 28 April, an assassination attempt on Aftab Ahmad Khan Sherpao, who is the interior minister that killed 28 people in Shahzada, NWFB. This time again, an attempt on a high-ranking officer of the Pakistani government was unsuccessful. 12 May, as many as 50 people were killed and hundreds injured when party workers of opposing parties, MQM, ANP and PPP, clash in Karachi, Sindh. The riots started when rival political rallies take the same route amid lawyers' protests for restoration of Iftikhar Muhammad Chaudhry as the Chief Justice of Supreme Court. 15 May, a bomb blast at the local Mohaba Hotel in Peshawar killed at least 24 people and injured 30. No one claimed responsibility for the suspected suicide blast in the lobby of the hotel popular with Afghans, where militants opposed to government support for the United States have launched attacks too. June, 5 people, including a tribal chief, a political tahsildar and a journalist, were killed when their vehicle hit a roadside bomb in Dar Khwar, Badghar district, federally administered tribal areas. 8 June, 3 people were killed and 7 others injured when a bomb exploded on a bus in Hub, Balochistan. The coach was heading from Lasbela district, Balochistan to Karachi. 23 June, a barrage of artillery and missiles fired from Afghanistan hit residential compounds and a hotel in Mangrota area of North Waziristan, Fata, killing 11 people and wounding 10 others, eyewitnesses and officials said. The dead included 2 children and a woman. July-September 2007. 6 July, President General Pervez Musharraf escaped yet another attempt on his life on Friday morning when around 36 rounds fired at his aircraft from a submachine gun in Rawalpindi missed their target. In another incident, 4 Pakistan Army troops, including a major and a lieutenant, were killed in an improvised explosive device attack on a military convoy in Dai district, a stronghold of the Jamaat-e-Islami and the Band Tehreek-e-Nafazi Shariat-e-Muhammadi. 8 July, unidentified gunmen killed 3 Chinese workers and wounded another near Peshawar in what Pakistani officials said was a terrorist attack apparently linked to the bloody siege of militants at an Islamabad mosque. 12 July, 7 people including 3 policemen were killed and several others injured in 2 suicide attacks, 2 blasts and a rocket attack in 3 tribal regions in Swat district in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. 14 July, at least 23 paramilitary troops died and 27 others injured when a suicide bomber rammed an explosives packed car into their convoy in Maranjah in one of the deadliest attacks on the security forces in North Waziristan. 15 July, at least 49 are killed and hundreds injured when suicide attack and car bombs explode throughout Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in an apparent retaliation for Lal Masjid operation. 11 security personnel and 6 civilians were killed and 47 others injured in Mata, Swat district, when suicide bombers smashed 2 cars packed with explosives into an army convoy, and 25 people were killed and 61 injured when a suicide bomber blew himself up in the Dar Ismail Khan police recruitment center. The attack in Swat was the 3rd attack on army outside the conflict zones of Fata. 17 July, at least 17 people were killed and 50 injured as a suicide bomber blew himself up outside the venue of the District Bar Council convention in Islamabad, killing mostly PPP political workers waiting for the arrival of Chief Justice Iftikhar Muhammad Shourie, who was to address the lawyers' convention. 19 July, more than 40 people were killed in 3 separate bomb attacks. In the first incident, bomb was detonated in a mosque used by military personnel in the northwestern town of Kohat, killing at least 11 people. This marked the 4th time the army was attacked outside conflict zones since 2004. In the second one, 26 people died and 50 were injured in the southern town of Hub, Lasbela district, Balochistan, in an attack apparently targeting Chinese workers. And in the last one, at least 7 people were killed and more than 20 injured in a suicide car bombing at a police academy in the northwestern town of Angul. 24 July, at least 9 people including a woman were killed and 40 others injured when unidentified militants fired a barrage of rockets on the civilian population in the northwestern city of Bani. 27 July, a suspected suicide bomber killed at least 13 people at Muzaffar Hotel in Upara, Islamabad Friday after hundreds of stone-throwing protesters clashed with police as the capital's Red Mosque reopened for the first time since a bloody army raid. The same day, Razik Bogdi, former guerrilla commander turned spokesman for the Balochistan government, was shot dead by assailants in Quetta. 2 August, the police in Sargodha shot dead a suspected suicide bomber after the man failed to detonate the explosives he was wearing. The man, who entered a police training center, killed a policeman before he was gunned down. 4 August, 9 people were killed and 43 injured when a suicide car bomber triggered an explosion at a busy bus station in Parachanara, Karam Agency. 26 August, 4 policemen were killed and 2 others wounded in a suicide attack in the Machar area of Shinla district. 4 September, at least 25 people were killed and 66 injured in 2 suicide bomb blasts in Rawalpindi cantonment's high-security areas during morning rush hour. The first blast took place near Kassim Market, where a Defense Ministry bus carrying around 38 civilians and uniformed officials was hit, killing 18 people. 5 minutes later, a second blast took place near Aure Bazaar, behind General Headquarters. The blast was caused by explosives fixed to a motorcycle, which blew up, killing 7 people on the spot. This was the 5th time the army was attacked outside war zone since the start of military operations, and the first time in Rawalpindi, the site of General Headquarters. 11 September, at least 17 people, including 3 security personnel and a woman, were killed and 16 others injured when a 15-year-old suicide bomber blew himself up in a passenger van at Banyada in Darya Ismail Khan district. The same day, Omar Ayub Khan's protocol officer, Laikat Hussain, was found shot dead near the northern bypass in Karachi. 13 September, at least 20 off-duty commandos were killed and 11 injured in an apparent suicide blast at an army officer's mess in Tarbela Ghazi, Harapur near Tarbela Dam. The targeted were the Pakistan Army's Special Forces Unit SSG Kaur Company, and this marked the 6th time the army was attacked outside conflict zone. 15 September, unidentified assailants shot dead Jamiat Ulema Islam leader and Wafaq al-Madaris Vice Chairman Maulana Hassan Jan in the jurisdiction of Yakjut Police Station in Peshawar. Hassan, a former MNA, also issued a fatwa against suicide attacks, and he, along with a group of Pakistani clerics, travelled to Afghanistan in 2001 to convince Mullah Omar that he should expel Osama bin Laden from Afghanistan to avoid American attacks. October-December 2007. 1 October, a suicide bomber disguised in a woman's burqa blew himself up at a busy police checkpost in Bani, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, killing at least 16 people, including 4 policemen, and injuring 29. 12 October, Mohammed Taliban publicly beheaded 6 criminals and lost 3 others in the name of Sharia. 18 October, attack on Benazir Bhutto convoy killed over 139 in Karachi and left more than 450 injured in one of the most deadliest terrorist attacks in Pakistan. Former PM Benazir Bhutto was returning after 8 years of self-imposed exile when the bomber struck the convoy, killing dozens. Karachi bombs in picturesque 20 October, at least 8 people were killed and 28 injured when a powerful bomb planted in a pickup vehicle exploded in Dera Bugti, Balochistan. 25 October, at least 20 people including 18 troops died and 35 others were injured in a blast aimed at a vehicle carrying Frontier Constabulary FC personnel in the troubled Swat district. It was suspected to be a suicide attack. 30 October, a suicide bomber struck a police checkpoint in the high-security zone of Rawalpindi, less than a kilometre from President General Pervez Musharraf's camp office, killing 7 people, 3 of them policemen, and injuring 31 others. The blast splattered checkpost of General Tariq Majid, current chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff's residence. This blast was the 7th one in the series of attacks against the symbols of Pakistan Army, and the 2nd one in Rawalpindi, the site of General Headquarters. 1 November, a suicide bomber rammed his motorcycle into a PAF bus near Sargodha, killing 7 officers of the Pakistan Air Force stationed at Musharraf Air Base and 3 civilians on the Faisalabad Road on Thursday morning. 28 people suffered injuries. It is significant that after this event a state of emergency was imposed on the country. 9 November, a suicide bomber killed at least 3 people and injured 2 others when he detonated explosives at the house of Federal Political Affairs Minister and PMLQ Provincial President Ahmed Mukam in Peshawar. The minister was unhurt, but a cousin of his was injured. The 3 dead were policemen guarding the house. 17-19 November, as many as 94 people were killed and 168 injured in 3 days of infighting between the rival Sunni Deobandi and Shia sects in Parishana Karam Agency in Pakistani tribal areas. Only by the 4th day, the army gained control of the area and the ceasefire was maintained in the area. 24 November, 30 people were killed in 2 suicide attacks in Rawalpindi. In the first incident, a suicide bomber rammed his car into a 72-seater bus parked in front of Archery Camp on Murray Road carrying Inter Services Intelligence ISI officials to work, killing 28 officials and a bystander. The second incident occurred as a second suicide bomber attempted to enter the General Headquarters GHQ. Upon being asked for identification at the GHQ checkpost, he blew himself up, resulting in the deaths of 1 security official and a bystander. 9 December, at least 10 people including 3 policemen and 7 civilians, including 2 children, perished in a car bombing near Mata, Swat District. 10 December, a suicide attack on the school bus carrying children during the morning rush injuring 7 of them. It was a PAF employee's bus and the attack took place near Manazebe, Gamra. It was the second major attack on the Pakistan Air Force after the Sargodha attack. 13 December, 2 suicide bombings near an army checkpost in Quetta killed 7 people, including 3 personnel of the Pakistan Army. 15 December, a suicide attacker rammed his explosives-laden bicycle into a military checkpost, killing 5 people and injuring 11 others in the first of a suicide attack in the city of Nowshera. The attack occurred at a checkpoint near the gate of an army school and was 9th one in the series of attacks against the army outside the conflict zone. 17 December, 12 security personnel were killed and 5 wounded in a suicide attack in the country's resting northwestern city of Kuwait. Victims were members of Army's local football team. This attack was 10th one of its kind on the Army and first one against a sports team. 21 December, on the eve of Eid al-Adha, a suicide bomb blast again targeted After Bombed Sherpa, killing at least 57 and injuring over 100 at Lal Masjid Sherpa in Shahsida district. Sherpa survived the blast. His youngest son Mustafa Khan Sherpa was injured. 23 December, at least 7 people, including a soldier and 6 civilians, were killed and another 23 wounded as a suicide bomber targeted an army convoy near Mingora. 27 December, 2-time Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto was assassinated in a shooting and suicide bombing in Rawalpindi's Liaquat Bog, killing up to 20 others and injuring many. The site is notorious as a place where former Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan was also assassinated in October 1951. 28 December, at least 33 people, including 4 policemen, were killed all over Pakistan in the violence that ensued after the assassination of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. The situation grew so worse that Sindh Rangers were given orders to shoot at sight. 28 December, a roadside bomb killed 9 people, including former PMLQ Minister Sfandiar Ahmadzeb, who was a grandson of Wali Swat in Swat District.